I like Minecraft Piston Doors. I also really like pumpkin carving. At least, apparently, according to the YouTube algorithm, because this video kept getting suggested to me, and after resisting the urge to click on it for a very long time, I finally did, and I heavily enjoyed it. I'm now an official pumpkin carver. No pumpkin is safe from my knives. But one thing that I also particularly enjoyed is the format of the video. So I've pinched it, and now we're going to do it for Minecraft Piston Doors. We are going to go from level 1, which is going to be nice and easy, all the way up to level 11, which is going to be a professional piston door. Level 1. And we truly are starting from the bottom on this one. You know, there's not really much to it. There's no buttons. There's not really a door. There's 2 trapdoors, but there's no actual door here. And the way that we open up a level 1 door is we just do a bit of that, and then to close it is quite simple. It's a bit of that. It's nice and easy to build. You know, it's 1 block wide. I mean, look at that. Most of the other doors in this list aren't 1 block wide. It could be completely hidden, you know, and it can be massive. You can make a 100 by 100 door using this technique. It just might take a while to open it. Please keep watching. The video does get better from here. Level 2. I have some very good news for everyone watching. This door does actually include a door. We've upgraded to a door, and we even have a redstone component. If I stand on this redstone component, you can see that our door actually opens, and it stays open until we get to the other side. And look, the beauty of this door is that we can go through it like this. It does get better, I promise. For the 4 people still watching, level 3. Hold on to your shorts, because we now have not 1, but 2 doors in the mix. And we've got multiple redstone components. I mean, look at this. Look at this. That is fancy stuff. Look, I can even stand on one of the pressure plates. I don't have to stand on both of them. If I stand on any of the pressure plates, those doors, they be opening. In sync. What a feat of redstone engineering this thing truly is. And I feel like it's worth mentioning at this point that if you do want to build any of the doors featured in this video, then you can find a word download down in the description. Unless I've forgotten, which I probably have. In which case, please scream at me in all capital letters down in the comments. Not that I need to tell you to do that, you're already doing it. Level number 4. And now we are finally starting to work in pistons. This is probably the most common piston door design, and for good reason. It works really quickly, it's incredibly compact. It's just a really nice little design. Now, my patented donut design is, of course, optional. You can have a completely solid door, but I personally really like this, especially because if you're flying with an elytra, you can actually fly straight through it, which kind of renders the whole thing pointless, doesn't it? I mean, a door that you can get through without having to open the door, that basically makes it not a door. But hey, it looks pretty and that's all that counts. Level number 5. If level 4 wasn't secure enough for you, then level 5 should hopefully do the trick, because this is a 2x2 flush piston door. We got ourselves a completely flat wall. You wouldn't be able to tell a door was there unless, of course, you put a lever. Obviously, if you wanted to actually hide this thing, you wouldn't have the lever. And when the door gets activated, everything draws back, and an entrance to your base is revealed. Perfect for those of you who have got sneaky neighbours who like to steal your stuff, or if your server is particularly laggy. Level number 6. This is a personal favourite of mine, especially with a design like this. We've all seen the sand piston doors, and they always look a little bit naff. But if you can work in a nice block palette, then they can actually end up looking really cool. And the beauty of a gravity-based door like this is that there really isn't any redstone above the ground. All of the redstone is down underneath, which makes things look quite elegant when they're up on the surface. Anyway, if I just give this button a bit of a press, you can see that everything drops down. We've got ourselves a nice looking archway. I mean, this is a cool looking archway. I really like the build that I've done here. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've tried my best to make all of the doors look unique and interesting, and I'm really happy with some of the designs that are coming up. But this right here definitely is a personal favourite of mine. I mean, I like the way that it looks when it's open, and then when it's closed as well. It just looks super cool. I'm a big fan. Level number 7. Now, of course, this would not be a video on the various levels of piston door without including some form of conventional 3x3 piston door. So, here we have it. You can see we've got that familiar opening and closing sequence. Now I've tried my best to add a slight spiral animation that I think looks pretty cool. It kind of spirals out in chunks. I like it a lot. And also one tiny modification that I've made from traditional 3x3 piston door designs is I've made the top part 1 block wide. Now, before all of you smart people start shouting at me down in the comment section that there are tons of 1 wide 3x3 piston doors, I'm well aware of them. And I do like them because they're incredibly compact, but when it comes to the 3x3 door that I actually want to build in my base, it's always going to be one with a nice opening sequence. So the main bulk of this thing is down underneath the ground. I say main bulk, it's still only 2 blocks wide, but then everything above the ground is only 1 block wide, which means that you only need to have a 3 wide wall to cover up all of the redstone for this thing, which means it can integrate really nicely inside your base. Because there's nothing worse than having to create a gigantic and deep hallway to cover up all the redstone from your piston door. It completely defeats the object of building something that looks this cool. And I have to say, with the little building elements I've added in, I really do think this thing does look cool. Level number 8. And in true poetic fashion, level 8 is the castle gate. Now these are nowhere near as common as they used to be. These are incredibly popular back in 2013 and 2014 when larger piston doors were slightly difficult to construct. But I personally have always been a massive fan of them, and I really like the way that this design looks. And there's just something so incredibly satisfying about watching these things open and just walking through. You know, I feel like the king of my own kingdom. I'm actually recording this video in chainmail. You know, ever since I built it, I just bought a horse on eBay. I lied, it was actually a pair of coconuts. But the thought still stands, okay? These get me in a kingly mood, okay? And everyone deserves to be in a kingly mood every now and again. I'm not sure that kingly is actually a word. I feel like if I keep saying it, it will become one. Dictionary debates aside, despite the fact that this is a level 8 piston door, it's actually really quite simple. We've got a double extender down at the bottom and a double piston extender up at the top, and they kind of pass the castle gate back and forth. And with a little bit of redstone magic, I've managed to keep this thing incredibly compact. I mean, look how little redstone there is. Level 9. Just like the 3x3 piston door, this thing had to feature. I can't possibly do a video referencing doors without referencing my 4x4 vault door. I know it sounds daft because there are bigger and more impressive piston doors out there, but this truly is my favourite redstone door in Minecraft. I just think it's the perfect balance of good size, nice proportions of the door, satisfying opening sequence, compactness, and also speed. Now the design that I have in front of me here is one that I designed about 2 years ago, and I did try my best to improve it, but I couldn't. I couldn't make it any faster, and I couldn't make it any more compact, simply because, well, it's at the limit. You know, the pistons are the edge of the door. It literally can't get any smaller unless you completely redesign the way that it works, and I'm not smart enough for that. What makes this door work so well and work so fast is all of these blocks right here at the top and down at the bottom, they're just retracted back by simple sticky pistons. Then the blocks in the center here, they're retracted back by sticky pistons that are attached to slime blocks. So you're essentially moving this entire chunk backwards. So all of this area here gets pulled back into the door, and then the only little thing that we have to do is we have to make sure that these blocks right here are pushed back in line with those blocks, which is done by these regular pistons back here. But it all happens so fast, kind of difficult to keep up with, which makes it extra awesome. And not to blow my own trumpet too much, but I really do think that this kind of disheveled, futuristic vibe suits this thing perfectly. Level number 10. And this is where things either begin to get really interesting or really boring, depending on who you ask. With the introduction of honey blocks into the game, giant piston doors suddenly became very easy. With a very basic understanding of flying machines, you can make some of the biggest piston doors that Minecraft has ever seen. And that didn't used to be the case when piston doors like this were the only available option. In front of me, I've got a 6x6 piston door, which I have to say looks absolutely gorgeous. And back in the day, this probably would have been the size of many houses. But now it's really quite small and simple, using very little redstone, and it all works quite elegantly. So you can see everything drops down into the ground, and we have got ourselves a gigantic opening. And the closing looks equally cool as well. It's very reminiscent of a real life door. This looks incredibly industrial. It looks like it belongs in a factory. I love it. But there is still a very small part of me that misses piston doors like this that just seem incredibly mechanical. With that being said, the fact that the majority of the redstone goes underneath the ground on these things and up above is relatively sparse is a huge benefit, and it definitely makes them much easier to integrate into builds. Level number 11. This one actually piggybacks on from level number 10, but whereas level number 10 was just a simple flying machine, this one has got chained flying machines. Or I should say we've got a flying machine that acts as the motor, and then we've got a few modules that are connected to it in an almost chain-like fashion. And this is what allows us to build piston doors that are ridiculously big and ridiculously impressive. I mean, come on. Come on now. I mean, it's so cool. It's so cool watching doors this big work in Minecraft, and especially all of it dropping down into the ground. I will never get bored of this. I will never get bored on this. I'm firmly on the side of the slime block and the honey block piston doors being absolutely awesome. I mean, it's not like these things are ridiculously easy. Sure, they're a lot easier than a 10 by 10 piston door would have been back in the day, but still, you have to know what you're doing to be able to build this thing. Or alternatively, you could have just downloaded this exact world download and then just copied and pasted it into your world. You could do that as well. With that being said, I would exercise a tiny bit of caution if you're doing this for the first time in survival mode, because the order in which you place your observers and your blocks could cause you some serious hassles. And when a Slimeblock Flying machine goes wrong, when it's chained with other Slimeblock Flying machines, it can lead to some enormous headaches. The sorts of headaches that make you want to delete your world and start again. The extra levels. You see, I promised you 11 levels in this video, but I have to say, although I'm pretty good at making piston doors and I absolutely love building them, there are some absolute wizards out there that can make some ridiculous ones. We're talking level 12, level 13, maybe even level 14 piston doors. So I'll leave it to them to show those off because those people are ridiculously talented. With that being said though, I do have a piston door that skips all of those levels. And then some. Level 9000. It's my face. It's my face as a door. Look, it's me. But I'm a piston door and you can open and close my face. It's pretty cool, isn't it? And on that very narcissistic note, I think it's time to end. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya!